We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. Castle. Give me wings to fly. We can run away. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me home and give me wings to fly? We can be alone in the castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me
I can wait another minute. I can wait another second to be with you for an eternity. I feel like I am in a daydream. Every moment that I spend with you, with you.
Won't you take me home and give me wings to fly? We can be alone in the castle in the sky. We can run away and leave this world behind. Please just take me home to a castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Castle in the sky. Won't you take me Even now, you're coming up to me, fire lighting up the sky. Feel the ground shaking underneath, trying to take me alive. Get ready for the fallout. Can't stop me now. I got no rival. I'ma find my way through the blood and pain game of survival. Any time or place, watch 'em run away. I got none. I'll be standing on my own, never gonna take my throne. I got no rival. Watch 'em run away. I got no, no, no. I got no, no, no rival. No rival. No rival. Tell me now, what you gonna do? We can do this face to face. The reckoning is coming real soon. Doesn't matter what you say. Try to tell you this in my moment. Can't take mine 'cause I own it. Don't you know that I'm locked and unloaded? You're
Alright guys, let me pull up the charts real quick for a few of these tickers people are requesting. We'll dive in. See, make sure I pull up the list. Okay, y'all got quite a few already in the live stream. Cool, cool. Second, we'll get into those two. See. Yeah, crypto. So crypto's interesting today. I haven't even looked at the Bitcoin charts or anything since earlier today, so we'll look at those in a second and we'll see them together for the first time. But let me check real quick. I want to make sure everybody's got the link over here. Got it. Cool. Someone confirm you can hear me okay. I changed my mic settings, so if you can hear me, just throw some hearts or likes or something in the lounge or whatnot. Any of it's good. And then we'll look at Broadcom too. I see the request there. Hey, Chris. Chris, this first time tuning in. Hey, yo. What's up, man? Welcome. Let's see. Check this list real quick. And then we will take a look at the next ones. Let me see. Can't hear. Let's see. Alright, any other specific tickers people want? I'm pulling up the list I've got here, but just to make sure. Alright, I'll dive in. Just keep slinging them. So Wolf, this was a sweet one that we traded based off of the setup, the options movement, as well as some other stuff. So I want to look at, show you what's going on here. Awesome gains on the calls with this today. We entered those yesterday and it bounced. Perfect retest. Overall, I think this is going to have some more bullish continuation. You know what, here, let's jump over to Bitcoin real quick, because I think that the movement that you're seeing here is similar to what I've already described. Oh yeah, we're going to keep rocking. So we broke down from the bullish pennant, but the bull flag's still intact. So if I look at the 4 hour, notice how we are now building more consolidation, and this is healthy and good. So same thing that I've mentioned on the previous sessions and previous videos, that ultimately what you have right now is quite a bit of people tax loss harvesting with crypto. That's why we'll get these big, like if you look on here on the smaller time frames, especially not that one, I want to look at the 15 minute. If you look on the smaller time frames especially, you'll see these big random candles that come into play, and that's where you get these big pops. And then a lot of the people, as silly as this may sound, but it's how you offset taxes, is you buy the top, thus these buys here, and then they basically sell, and then they sell to secure the paper loss here, and they immediately rebuy. So if you actually go look at the wallet movement, you can actually see that taking place on a lot of the crypto. So definitely gonna keep seeing some of that. Still bullish as ever. Same thing here, building higher lows. Bitcoin's looking solid. A lot of the crypto stocks are looking solid also as a result. IWM, I haven't looked at the overall setup. Y'all saw, or most of y'all probably did, some of you that haven't, the news, the data that came in this morning. Here, I'll look on unusual whales just to show you real quick. Basically, the data came in hot, so that's why everything's reacting the way it is. It's also why I was kind of cautious with how I took any of the trades that I took, because I didn't want to be stuck in a situation on swing options in a heavy position where I couldn't do anything about it. So actually, unusual whales only shows the forecast, so we'll look on Market Watch. So you can see here that the actual that came in for unemployment, hot. We came in higher unemployment numbers. PPI, hot. Or PPI, get out here, came in a little bit lower, but ultimately PPI came in hot. So PPI year over year also came in hot, and core PPI year over year as expected. So that's kind of why you had the reaction you had across many of the things in pre-market this morning. You look at IWM, for instance, which I'm curious. Okay, yeah, that looks just fine. Like I mentioned on yesterday's video, if we broke down from that pennant, we are probably going to test this confluence level. So what I want to see on IWM tomorrow specifically is to see if it can catch that bounce at the support level there, as well as the bounce at that confluence with this blue trend line. So I'm going to be watching to see, can IWM hold this and move higher. We'll see real quick. I want to jump over to NVIDIA and several of the big tech tickers, because this is why you haven't seen me trading them super heavy right now, because just the back and forth with them. And we'll look at Broadcom too. I know several of y'all wanted to look at Broadcom. We'll hit PayPal. Any others y'all throw in the chat. So right now you've got these tight ranges, and when you trade in these tight ranges, like, it just sucks for trading options, honestly, especially when the premiums are hot. So Tesla, even if you look over here, Tesla, and sorry, I'm jumping through these kind of fast because you can pause and you can see the levels of support and resistance. The legend is in the description for the video if you want to more specifically see those. But Tesla, as odd as this is about to sound, many of you that know Elon and know things, 420 and 69, the dude jokes about it nonstop, and I kid you not, yesterday we were looking at it as it went into that 420 level, and we're kind of joking about it, and I sold covered calls here yesterday because that 420 level I was expecting a rejection, not just psychological, but I was also seeing exhaustion on the buying side. Not even 3 minutes later, Elon tweets some random tweet as a follow-up to someone else, and it was in reference to a 69% gain and talking about it was inevitable. So that being said, 420 hit and it rejected. If you look back, what I want to see on Tesla to determine whether or not I buy to close my covered calls now or wait is whether or not it ends up holding above that 414.50 level. If you're not aware of what that is, I'm gonna go to the daily so I quit zooming out that way. That is the previous high, the previous all-time high was there. So if we actually reject back under that, that's not going to be great, especially if we lose this 404.82 level. Honestly, Tesla needs a little retrace. When it pumps super hard like this, the pullbacks are typically harsh. This is why I sell covered calls on the strong pumps with Tesla. Collect the premium, it hedges my gains on my shares. Then also I can buy to close and then make gains on the premiums along the way. So watching Tesla to see if it can hold this range. We scalped some puts earlier today, but I got out like as soon as I locked my gains on it, because I did lock them early. Honestly, I locked it this first retest, and I should have kept riding them a little bit because they ended up going a little bit higher. But same thing that I've talked about with Nvidia and several other big tickers right now, like that put that expires tomorrow for being out of the money at the time of entry and everything was still $500 for a single contract, and I personally just don't love risking that much capital on a single trade that's at high risk. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with Tesla and Nvidia. Look at PayPal real quick since it's at the top of the other chat. Looks like PayPal got a nice little rejection as well. So I know Tony specifically has been watching PayPal and trading it quite a bit. I would say be careful. What you want to see here on PayPal is to see can it hold and build consolidation in this zone and hold above that 85 level. I think the news today related to the rates wasn't great, so we'll see whether or not some of these other stocks can kind of pull through. It might signify and drive a reversal on some of the things, but I tend to try to trade certain stocks that aren't going to be impacted so much by that. Crypto stocks are also going to be hot and good. Hood had some good, interesting movement earlier today. Check this out. Look how beautiful the bounce was off that support level. That's another one that we couldn't have done much better by entering those calls yesterday. I mean, it did dip initially this morning, so yeah, I guess you could have done better if you caught that immediate opening dip. That would have been a sweet day trade, but caught the bounce off that support level, which is also the larger bull flag setup. So definitely still watching that. I went ahead and locked the gains on mine today just because I didn't want to mess with the risk of it. And one of my core rules, and people in any of the discords can kind of repeat it, is never let a green trade go red. You're not going to lose money. You're going to build your account by following that rule. So we'll see what plays out with Hood. I'll see if it makes sense to have a re-entry, but if the re-entry setup doesn't make sense, I'm not going to re-enter that thing. Another one that popped off great today was Celsius. I was a little salty because I locked my gains on my calls a little premature on Celsius this morning. I could have rode them through the pullback too, but I did end up selling them kind of over in here. It was still awesome gains. I guess I can't really complain about that, but it did end up moving higher. It does look like Celsius is indeed going to play out this breakout retest setup we've got going on here, as well as the inverse head and shoulders. So that's the price target you can see there if you wanted to get into a long. I will say be careful because the lawsuit situation or whatever with Celsius. That being said, I'm trading the technicals and the options movement, and it yielded great results. cranking through some of these. I'm gonna jump back to the list, but I want to make sure I cover some of these that we're actively trading stuff on. So Lucid, same thing, right? Which there was some really interesting movement on Lucid into the afternoon session today. We've got the breakout of the downtrend, the pullback, the retest, and that bounce. If we can sustain and get increasing buying volume here, Lucid can rip. I showed you on the video yesterday the primary holding people or companies or institutions for Lucid, and there's not a whole lot of circulating, and that's more of a crypto term that I'm using, so I probably shouldn't say that, but there's not a lot of circulating supply of shares out in the open market on Lucid. So whenever people do get to buying those open market shares, it tends to move rapidly. So we saw that a good bit today on these moves up. You can see that was a perfect retest, and then it just ripped, and then it retraced and it ripped. So I actually entered some random lotto calls on this again, just to see what happens, and I'll probably add to my share holdings on it too. Let's see, what is on this other list though, so I don't miss anything. Let's look at Broadcom real quick, because they had earnings in after hours today. Oh yeah, nice big pop. Damn, y'all heard me talking about calls on Broadcom too the other day, and I was like, oh, I don't usually trade earnings directly, but I was tempted, and I should have done it, because if you look here, it was actually the 200 calls that I was going to enter, and it was on Tuesday, because I saw the pullback, and I was like, man, that thing is really beat down, and there's some really interesting movement over on Unusual Whales options flows, and now I see why. So that's a nice, beautiful breakout. With any earnings though, and sorry, it's on the daily time frame, so it's kind of hiding it, but I'm gonna click on the daily anyways because I want to see the setup since it's there. With any earnings, you never really know how that's gonna shake out until tomorrow morning. We'll see if it can sustain that move over 200 into open tomorrow. Typically with earnings, what you see is a big move in after hours one way or the other, and then things settle and they trade it flat, so that the option premiums get wrecked off IV crush. So we'll see whether that happens with Broadcom. We looked at PayPal, Adobe. Let's look at Adobe real quick. Sorry, checking to make sure I'm pulling up everybody's tickers over here because I don't want to skip anybody. CZ wants me to do TA on AEM SC. I mean, here's my thing, and I'll show you when we look at it. I didn't take that trade for multiple reasons, so it just, for me, that did not make sense, and I try not to fall into the trap and mindset of trying to continuously add and get fixated on a single trade and single play like that, like I noticed somebody was doing. It can turn out poorly if you get hung up on doing that, and like you can end up catching yourself in a position that's high risk and you can burn yourself pretty bad. So I would definitely be careful with taking that approach on stuff. Adobe, check that out, that like perfect little gap fill tag like what we were talking about yesterday. So it filled this gap, and for those of you that are trying to figure out what I'm doing with all my lines, notice how that one was a purple dotted line. That's because it was the gap from over here. Now that it's filled, it's going to become a solid purple line because that is a gap that has been filled. But now we've also established a gap to the upside here, so I'm going to draw that gap right there. And yes, Tony, I can make that a favorite, but that took me 3 seconds. So I might do the favorite thing, we'll see. Right now, Adobe, like I typically like to trade puts on Adobe just because the premiums are better in general, but also like it's pretty easy to trade off the rejections. I just didn't mess with it this time because I'm in so many other positions at the moment. But yeah, I'd be watching those levels on Adobe, see how it shakes that out. Let's see, what is the one we're looking at? Are you asking if Adobe, Miriam, are you asking if Adobe would go back up tomorrow? It could, or it could kind of stay in the range it's in and they could wreck the contracts on it. AMSC. So, like, this is why I'm not a huge fan of this. Even with Broadcom ripping in after hours, notice how this thing's not really moving. So that you don't trade something with sympathy like that when the patterns are in line. So, sorry, not knocking different people trade different styles, but like that setup just didn't make sense for me, and I should have vocalized that and shared the chart level with those other people, but it wasn't my place to do so. Like if I'm marking just offhand the levels here on this, I'd be watching these levels to see what happens. And if you're like, how the heck did he just map and click random stuff to where it lights up? You get used to it. If you trade enough of them, you start to notice the levels that have alignment across multiple touch points like that without actually like checking. So you can see like there was multiple support bounces off that level. This level served as a resistance and then followed through as a support level, then became resistance again, then support again. This level was resistance, rejected there, resistance, rejected there, resistance, rejected there, and then we blew through right here, which was a good breakout because you had the big increasing buying volume and this fat green candle, which is what you want to see to get past a supply zone, which is what was going on there. So as of right now, maybe that supply zone in this area becomes a demand zone, but ultimately looking at this chart right here, that thing's probably going to build a bear flag and break down further unless it gets some rapid buying volume somehow off the whole Broadcom thing, which I don't think they correlate that much personally, but maybe they do. I mean, I personally haven't traded a whole lot to say that, so take it with a grain of salt, but trying to see if this thing flagged any patterns on it. Let me actually tell CZ. There you go. Tesla puts look good. Yeah, Tesla, AM, SC. Sorry, I'm checking 3 different places. Let me look at Microsoft real quick. So we trade puts off that. I want to make sure that those people that didn't lock their gains, I locked my gains. Like I said earlier, I'm not messing around with trying to chase something, although I look at some of these and I'll regret fully locking the gains on it, because like Microsoft's a great example of that. I wish I would have held those puts longer now, looking at that. Holy crap. We bought 450 puts for dirt cheap earlier, and they are going to be stupid high tomorrow. Wow. No. I mean, it is what it is. Hopefully somebody left runners. I should have left a runner on it. Usually I would, but wow, those are nicely in the money now. I didn't expect it to dive that hard that fast. I expected it to do it between now and the end of the week, but nice. That's a great entry. And there was a head and shoulders pattern at the time on the chart, and I entered with the rejection here if you're trying to figure out why. And I don't know if this pattern thing, it's not flagging it anyways, but yeah, I saw the breakdown and I saw the options movement on it, so I entered the puts there, and I did lock my gains right there because it was a support level and I didn't want to mess with trying to chase it tomorrow. But wow, those are really going to print now. Block and path are on the list over here. What? I don't know why I typed that instead of SQ. So yeah, I'm still watching this. Like, until I see SQ, aka block, do something that signifies it's going to be a bullish breakout or bearish breakdown, I don't chase it. So I'm going to watch that and see what happens. I think I'm still in the runners that are for like next year expiration, but they're up still, it looks like 35 and 36%. So if I see a breakdown, I'll go ahead and lock gains on those just to close out the runners. But yeah, that's where it's at right now. Path, same thing it looks like here. So it's in consolidation at the moment, but it's not clear which direction it's actually going to go. So I would keep an eye on and see what happens. It might can break out, it may break down. Oh wow, there's lots of chats here. Here, let me move this chat real quick so I can see it better because it's on the TV over on the wall. Make sure I'm not missing anything. First time tuning in, yep, we touched on that. And if y'all could, please hit the like and subscribe button. I'm trying to grow that. Wow, Sean had 150% gains on that trade setup with the Microsoft puts. Good stuff, man. Recommendations for SPY tomorrow. So Miriam, I'll alert more stuff over in the Discord tomorrow, in either of them. And 2 weeks to 4 weeks out as a question, it's typically not going to be that straightforward. It's really going to depend more on the time horizon of the trade that you're trading. And when I say that, like if we expect a move to take place relatively fast based off of a quick rejection, I would want something that's a little nearer term just in general, because I'm going to get better movement off the options and pay lower premium that'll benefit from that trade move, as compared to if you trade something that's way far out and you're trading a smaller term setup that's a really small type move. The option premiums may not move at all for your like way far out calls or puts. So really what the strike and expiration you go with is going to vary a little bit depending on what the trade is that you're taking. So you're welcome to come join the free Discord. And I mean, if you hang out in the lounge just for a couple of days, you'll probably get the hang of it and follow the conversation on why we trade certain stuff different ways. I would love to kind of talk through it in more detail, but also I know that I've got to go in there and rescue my wife from our children here in a moment. So I'll have to make a separate video probably on like the how or why to trade certain things at certain time frames. But let's see, like if I look at SPY real quick just to kind of answer that. I haven't been trading SPY and QQQ directly very much lately. Reason being is the premiums have not really made a lot of sense for me to trade. Risk to reward wise, contract wise, what they cost. There's so many other tickers that I can trade and make significant gains, which we saw plenty of examples of that the last 2 days, including like a 467% gain on Wolf. So like, just you don't have to trade the same tickers that I know everyone seems to want to trade on a lot of the bigger retail groups on Facebook and stuff. Like they'll stick with trading Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, QQQ, SPY, and that's cool. A lot of those options and stuff like that, like for me, risk to reward just doesn't make sense. So I'll trade other things, and typically it works out better. Days like today, where overall we had pretty tight movement up until this big drop and breakdown. Like if anyone tried to trade 0 data expiration calls or puts, they basically would have got wrecked unless they entered puts right here at the end of the day and then dove with it. Same thing on IWM short dated options. I bit myself on IWM calls because I was silly and broke my own rules because I'm human, just like everyone else. And I should have sold my calls yesterday. We joked about it, about being a degen over in the lounge of the Discord. And I blame 007 Matt. It's his fault. Not really, it's my fault because I did it. But still, like he was like, be a degen, and everybody started voting for it. And I was like, all right, fine, we'll ride the calls out. So that one stung a little bit because it was like a $1,200 loss on the small account, which I offset that today still. But it did suck not locking the gains right there like I would have done, following my rules to where don't let the green trades go red, right? Let's see, I can go over meta for you too. Let me make sure I'm covering all these others, and then also I can move this chat back down here, sorry. The reason I'm having to move it back, just in case y'all are like, why is he switching back and forth all of a sudden? He didn't do this before. Analyzer said bad influence. Yep, it's your fault too. Y'all need to go get the degen shirts. But the reason I'm having to switch back and forth is because my TV croaked. I guess leaving the stock charts on the TV 24/7 with crypto charts wasn't ideal for the TV, and it burnt up. So I've got a smaller TV out of our garage that we usually use for like running on the treadmill and stuff, because we don't use it anyways. We've in order to track screens plenty, but I pulled it in here. Not like my other 6 monitors aren't helping, but sorry, going down a rabbit hole there. Cost for earnings. Yeah, sorry, Miriam. Not the cost for earnings. The cost of the contracts on the premiums for calls or puts. So, like, if something costs, for instance, $500 to trade an appropriate call option that's far enough out to make gains, and that $500 contract is only going to yield like 10 to 15% gains, I would rather take that $500 and trade that on something else that has more favorable risk to reward with cheaper contracts, probably taking the $500 and putting it into some contracts that I could turn and do like 70-80% plus gains on with the ease. That's kind of just my approach to a lot of these trades, because I don't get hung up on trading the same tickers over and over. And even then I can trade options like several that we traded last week. Were further out expirations like January and beyond, and they still offered up 50% plus gains. like Mobileye did this morning actually. So plenty of other things to trade out there without trading the same SPY and QQQ, Nvidia, Tesla stuff over and over again. But Joe, Tesla, if you jump back to the video, the beginning, I touched on Tesla a little bit. The support levels are there as well. I can look at Meta for you in just a second. Let me move this over again. Man, IWM's taking a dip after hours. I should have traded puts on IWM when I saw the support break, but we're all super focused on some other stuff. Ooh, I gotta click on Intel real quick, because there was some interesting stuff going on with Intel on the options flows. And it actually is looking like it kind of wants to bounce off of that support range. One thing I mentioned to some guys earlier today, that I'm not like assuming this happens by any means, but it sure would be fantastic if it did, because I did buy some lotto calls. We got random news on Intel right here on the 20th of September, and that random news sent Intel like ripping up, and it was like 10% move that day. And I remember seeing some options, and I'm not doing my lotto trade just because they did it like this, because I have to look at the Greeks, but I remember seeing someone that spent $200 on some random Intel options they bought right here, and the next day that $200 trade was worth 16 grand, and she was all kinds of confused about it. But like, that's the magic of options. And you shouldn't be taking trades based off the assumption that you're going to have some massive move like that by any means. That being said, I went ahead and threw $100 at it because they were a penny a piece or $1 a piece. They may be worthless tomorrow. That's okay too. It was a lotto trade, and I entered that knowing good and well that's what it was. It's not like I YOLO'd my whole account trying to make a massive gain or something, but I was curious to say the least. Even a move right here back above that 21.98 level, if it somehow got random news about a new CEO coming into play, would send that thing popping. So we'll see what happens with Intel. I imagine I'm going to lose my money on that trade, and this thing's going to consolidate or reject and move lower, but it is what it is. Meta was the next one I was going to look at real quick for you. I saw Zuckerberg selling some more shares the last few days. Of course he's selling the top. That's how he rolls. Yeah, as of right now, it's still in that breakout to the upside, which is what, if you look here, I've got this measured move. It's just taking for freaking ever to play it out, which that's why I had it further out for next year. But that's the measured move for that upside breakout, is actually close to the 700 level. Monday's dividend day for Meta. And they have a crappy 50-cent dividend. Interesting. You threw $1,000 analyzer. You threw $1,000 at Square today. You need to calm yourself down, sir. But yeah, I'll look at Palantir real quick for you. So Palantir, same thing that like I've been explaining to people. Everybody freaks out because Palantir retraces. I'm like, come on, like Palantir is still bullish as ever. Look at this. This thing's still moving up. So I almost did it earlier, and I should have just gone ahead and done it, but I almost bought some calls because I saw some bullish movement on the $75 calls, which, you know what? No, I traded flatter and flat. I'm glad I waited, because that tight range right there, even though it looks like a big range, that right there would have burned some contracts up. So yeah, let's see. That's what I almost bought, was the $75 calls for next week, and then I ended up holding off on it. Patience pays in percentages, right? Just like the shirt that we have going on says. No point in rushing into a trade. I'd rather be patient and not chase it. Patient, wait for the confirmation, then trade it accordingly. What other ones do we need to cover real quick? Let me see. I'll do a few more. Let me look real quick at a couple of cryptos for us, because I know I looked at Bitcoin, but I'm going to look at Solana real quick, because I know that somebody was asking. Who was asking? I'm going to blank on who it was. And y'all know I love Solana, so it's still bullish. Don't let the little bitty red candles scare you. Oh yeah, we're going for a breakout right here. This is gonna be nice. I might actually hear, who was that? I gotta scroll up over here in the chat real quick. I gotta see. It was Dewey Cooey. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but I'm gonna go with it anyway. So with Solana, like, there's a reason you can see I got this massive green arrow here because that's a measured move. But what I want to see right here, and I'm actually digging the setup the more I look at this, is look, here's what I see. So y'all can follow along. Make this thicker so y'all can see it a bit better. And but if I look at the weekly too, like it's not a full-blown bull flag. Actually, that's not past 50%. That thing's still valid. So like I'm watching that right there because that alone, which is conservative, at a 80% plus measured move. So if I am ignoring all the larger time frame weekly massive bull flag that's on Solana right now, the measured move for just this more near term one, yeah, I'm gonna do this conservative again. I'm gonna put it way down here. The 80% measured move on this thing. Or here, we'll just do 78%. No, we're gonna do right at 80. $400 is the measured move on Solana. There you go. So Solana's got plenty of growth potential. I mean, obviously this isn't one that you're going to see like 2,000% gains on the trade unless you're trading leveraged futures on it. Also be careful for those of y'all that have started trying to mess with leveraged futures. Like you see me make huge gains on them, but I've been using them for like 4 years. If you're not careful, you will get liquidated fast on these rapid little sell-offs that people do for tax loss harvesting, which is where I took those hits on SHIB several years ago and learned like multiple $5,000+ lessons. So what I'm looking for here is a breakout to the upside of that, which is looking good. What's Doge look like? Because Doge, I think, is getting a little love on the communities. Oh yeah, Doge wants that breakout. So watching this, once you actually see some of these things break out, like I wish people would have just listened the last couple of days. So many dip buying opportunities, like right there. Oh, gotta just load the boat on some Matic. Chainlink's another one that we've been talking about on the chat a lot. Look at this. Look at Chainlink with its breakout. I was playing Call of Duty last night. Yes, I play Call of Duty. Don't judge me. Yeah, I saw the breakout because they were talking about it on the thing. Look at this. This thing's gonna rip. Yeah, Chainlink is getting some love, which is good. What's XRP looking like? About like I'd expect XRP. And y'all know how I feel about that right now. I mean, the bullish setup is there. I like the tech and everything. I just don't like the wallet load that's sitting on right now for the devs. Like it just, something doesn't feel right for me. I'm still holding my position on it. We'll see. Hopefully I don't get burned. Yeah, I can do Google. Got your analyzer. So Google got that nice big breakout with the bullish volume. It looks like it's back testing right now. You know, I'm kind of kicking myself because I remember seeing some puts in the flow this morning and I was like, I'm going to hold off because it's in this breakout zone and it hasn't retested yet and I'm not sure. And then I saw how flat it was trading and I didn't want to get stuck in them. And I almost bought them like right in this area right around lunchtime. I was on a bunch of meetings this morning, and then had I bought those, they would have banked into close. If Google loses that support level tomorrow, I'll probably trade some puts on it, because it's like every time, like Google's all chill and rapid like this, and the first time it gets a damn antitrust lawsuit announcement or something, it takes these dives. So if I see rejection there, might not be a bad spot to try to trade some puts to the downside again on it, but I want to see, because that is a nice big fat bullish breakout candle pushing through that supply zone, so we'll see if it rejects back under or not. Let me look in this chat again real quick, see what we got going on here. Looked at Meta. Miriam asks to can't talk, crap, sorry, need more coffee. Miriam asked a fantastic question related to, are there certain things I trade on Friday because the premium is like beat down for a 0 day to expiration? Absolutely. So like there's certain things that just don't make sense the rest of the week risk to reward wise to trade. But one thing we've been watching all week long, me and at least Deej I know has been watching this, is MicroStrategy. So I'm trying to be careful and not be a full blown degenerate about MicroStrategy at the moment because I know I love me some bullishness on crypto, but I'm also digging that this thing is trying to bounce again right here, and like tomorrow morning especially. Which, by the way, for those of you that don't, Fridays are for MicroStrategy. Damn right. Like they used to be. Fridays were like the day to trade some either Tesla, Nvidia. So a lot of those stocks that I say the risk to reward doesn't make sense to trade longer term swings on because it's too high. I will very much trade those on shorter time frame moves. But the trick with that is not sitting in it and being greedy. If it makes the move, you hit the resistance level if you're in calls, you hit the support level if you're in puts, you lock your gains, and you don't look back. Because if it does break and goes further, you're going to be upset and you're going to have FOMO. If you don't lock your gains and you catch a bounce, you may never recover and you're going to watch the money disappear, which is what I did on some MicroStrategy calls 2 weeks ago. But I don't know, like I may be active somewhat in the morning. Then we're driving to Austin for a company event, so I may not be super active, at least in the afternoon trading, unless I have my wife drive and I trade while we're driving. So yeah, I'll be seeing what we got there. Still watching. I know I didn't alert a whole lot of swing trades today and yesterday. Like I said, yesterday I was being careful because the data, which I'm glad that I was careful because you saw the movement this morning. It was very mixed on a lot of things. But also trying to be careful right now because there's several tickers that are trying to confirm a setup for a trade in the direction I want to go to trade the options that I'm seeing in the flows. But I'm trying to be really patient and get us the ideal entries on those. Doesn't make any sense to trade. Miriam, all I trade on Fridays is out of the money options. Like, I'm gonna tell you straight up. And like the people and several of the things that trade with me can attest, it still works just fine if you know what you're doing. And honestly, it works better because you can get the benefit on the option beat down. It's not gambling on something that's outside the trading range. More so it would be trading into the setup accordingly. So what was last Friday? I'll look at an example real quick for you. So last was the Friday. Yeah, if we look there, we've got the 6th. And the week before that was Thanksgiving. It was real wacky. So the 6th. Which ones did I trade? I'm watching GameStop too really closely tomorrow because something's kind of wacky with the movement on it, which I would expect that following earnings. Was that the MicroStrategy one? Are you talking about MicroStrategy 410 for tomorrow, or are you saying that that's what we traded last week or the week before? I can't remember, dude. It was last Friday? Yeah. Thank you for being awesome and for listening in. I knew I could count on you. Best secretary ever, dude. So, like, yeah, good example, actually, because, like, look, so this MicroStrategy calls last Friday, if we entered them on the bounce off the support level, right here, and this is for Miriam's context, so what I should have done is I should have locked the gains whenever I saw the reversal happen there, but I was a dummy, and I didn't. Knowing good and well I should have, so that's on me. But minimally, I should have trimmed the position when it was up like 200% or some crap, but I wrote it out. So, yeah, that right there is why, because while that range seems like it's big and rapid, you got to be in and out on moves like that. You can't look at this range that happened a couple of days before and expect that you're going to break that same range and make that move. So, while that's a big overall move, because that's literally the difference between 404, like, how much dollars wise is that? Like, it literally traded across over $20 of trading range there. So delta times 20, right? That shows you how much your premium would have moved in that move. But yeah, like, that's a good example of don't sit in it long. If you're going to trade a short dated option like that, go in with the trade plan. Trade it from, let's say if you're in calls and you get right there, I'd be looking for a reversal on the 5 minute. It's Wednesday. Today. I want last Friday. Yes, I know I can type it down at the bottom and it'll jump over. but that's no fun, is it? So yeah, I traded off the support bounce, and I should have sold it minimally whenever it came back right there, and it broke that. I should have sold there. I didn't. And then, like, even though it retraced up here again, didn't matter. The theta decay was too high on it, so it kept on wrecking them. Let's see. Yeah, Miriam, no problem. And yeah, sorry. Like, honestly, I'm doing a really crappy job explaining this stuff today. I feel like, because it's been a really long week and I'm just burnt out. But yeah, I'll try to go in more depth and stuff in some of the other videos. And do some breakout videos on some other stuff. One thing for those of you that were asking, because I had 2 people message me about it, I added some other stuff to the site if y'all want to start getting shirts. I think you can order them now. Oh, I ordered one for myself. And I need to change the design of the layout and everything, but this is what several people are over here trying to order the coffee cup already. So, like, yeah, let me know too if y'all got any quotes or design ideas you want to see on some trading specific clothing. Hit me up. Like, let me know. Let's make it. But threw some other new stuff out there. Like, you know, you gotta have Not Your Keys, Not Your Crypto shirt if you're into the crypto game. But yeah, I'm gonna be adding a lot more. I've got a bunch of other designs. I just didn't have time to upload those last night. But yeah, all kinds of fun stuff going on over there. Probably gonna wrap it up unless there's any additional tickers y'all really need me to look at. Let me make sure that there's none I missed in this other chat too, real quick. See. Check bullish rate real quick. What we got? Yeah, Broadcom. Yep. Yeah. I think that's going to be a wrap unless there's any other specific tickers y'all want. But at any rate, if y'all want me to look at some others, or if y'all just want charts, just hit me up. Either message me on Discord or comment and tag me in any of the lounges that we're in. I'm in like 3 actively, and I'm in like 20 inactively. So, like, just tag me in the lounge if you want me to look at any specific tickers for you, and I'll go pull the charts and drop them in. Yeah, man, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate doing the videos and stuff for y'all. Feel free to share it too. Like, if you think it's valuable for somebody else or something, throw it up on Facebook or Twitter. Someone recently asked me if it was okay if they shared them, and I'm like, absolutely. Like, that's the whole point of doing it, and doing it where it's on a platform that's free to where anyone can watch it and learn, because I learned a lot from other people kind of earlier on, and then learned some hard lessons myself because I didn't get stuff explained to me. So hopefully it can save some people from losing money or hard lessons. But on that note, oh, thanks, Analyzer. On that note, I'm going to wrap up. Everybody have a good evening and have a great weekend if I don't hear back from you. Later.